It's great to be back in the game. Today we will be making a dubstep slash rhythm drop from scratch. I have prepared this very basic project file and we will be building a rhythm drop on top of that template. So today's video is sponsored by Black Lotus Audio once again. This time we will be using their new flagship product, Machina. Machina is based around future rhythm, so all of those strange names like blank space, all Asile, Akeos, yeah, those guys, like, goddamn the names. Why future rhythm, you may ask? Future rhythm is really cool genre if you are interested in sound design. Compared to the more traditional rhythm tracks, it's a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more kind of subtle. The sound design is more colorful, more like texture.
I will eat my neighbors.
Definitely interesting genre, and I'm really excited to dive into the pack and see what's in there and maybe utilize some of it in my productions. I'm going to focus more on a rhythm side. We will be using those sounds, so we will be having some of that future rhythm vibe in our drop. And if you enjoyed the sounds used in the tutorial, check out the Machina. Down below I have a link and discount code for you guys, so check that out. And without further ado, let's dive into the door. Yep.
We are here in FL Studio. I have prepared this project file which has this really simple build up and then drop drums, nothing too crazy going on, just simple template for us to work with. Let me play this to you guys, starting now. Really simple stuff. In this tutorial we do not have enough time to go through the drums, so please let us know in the comments if that's something that you are interested. But let's dive right to the drop. So this is going to be a really classical rhythm drop, and I wanted to do a fake out drop to start this thing. So we'd have the build up, then some kind of drop sound, and then the fake out drop, which leads up to the main drop. And I'm going to start by erasing this drum loop. So now we have only the kick over here on the crash and some rides, and over here the full drop will start. So let's mark that as a drop, and this short section will be pre-drop or fake out, like that. And I also have this hi-hat loop, which is from Black Lotus Audio Horizon drum pack, and I'm going to just use this as a hi-hat in between the hits, this part. So like this, and maybe we could actually take these away. So I think that's great groove. Now let's also copy this crash over here. And I'm going to start laying out the basses. And I want to start this drop by using some sort of little bit like stranger or weaker bass sound. Then at this drop mark, hit with the proper drop bass. So we are in Black Lotus Audio Machina, which is the pack that we will be using today, and this is our new Riddim, experimental Riddim, future Riddim, you name it, kind of pack. So there is a lot of cool experimental kind of the sounds from the new wave of Riddim. So let's go through this and try to find something really wonky. Oh, that could be cool. This is what I'm looking for. So let's lay out the note, and this drop will be on D sharp, which is my favorite drop key. So we'll lay out this for the whole amount of the fake out. Maybe do triplets because this feels a little bit slower. So in Vital, you can change this patch to triplets by choosing triplets over here. And now we have triplets. You have to do it for all of the LFOs that automate this patch. So let's listen to that. That's great. And we are going to follow up that with some kind of drop bass. This is really gnarly, so let's paste that over here. And let's listen to this transition. That's pretty cool. This section over here is a little bit weak, so we have to try to find a drum fill for that part. So I have these drum fills over here. Maybe that could work. This is from the Black Lotus Horizon drum pack. So I adjusted this fill to fit our drop. I have this automation going to Endless Smile plugin. I also use that on the build-up part, but basically on the fake out drop, the Endless Smile will be taking out some of the low end and bringing in a little bit of reverb and other effects. So like that, and it plays really well together with the fill and the fake out bass. I also added this reverse, and I'm going to add a little bit of high passing on the master. So that's pretty cool. Now I think that's the fake out drop is starting to work pretty well, so we'll move to the drop section. And with Riddim, usually like the really basic pattern is to have some sort of call and response between two basses or two bass phrases. So as an example, with this patch, you had those two different peaks, and that's our call and response. But you can do that also by having multiple basses. So if I'd make this a little bit shorter and like that. So I'm going to add the secondary bass for the kind of the response, and let's try to find something cool from here. Maybe. Maybe something like that. Now, since this is only one bar, we'd probably want to multiply this by 4 and make it a little bit longer. And if we just repeat this phrase over and over again, it's going to get a little bit boring. So I'm probably going to switch out one of these hits and actually make this a little bit longer. So we have this computer talk as a first bass, and then I'm going to try to find a secondary bass which we can use in between of these hits. So let's go to the bass section. Maybe something like that. Let's go with this. And maybe like try something different over here, like something like that. I think that's pretty cool. Now, also I think I'm going to take out these rights and use them on the fake out, and then we are going to have really dry section in this part. If we have this fake out part a little bit washed out and like building up with the risers and all that, it's going to build up the tension even after the build up. So we have to building up our excitement and tension, and then have the fake out, which doesn't resolve, but it builds up the tension even more. And then we hit the audience with really dry bass line and like centered in your face, simple elements. So I'm probably going to actually try to widen this part. So what I'm going to do, this is a really neat trick to spice up your builds. I'm going to take out this stereo separation knob and I'm going to create automation. And we have the automation over here. In the drop part, I want it to be a sort of neutral, but we could actually spread the stereo image on the riser part. So that's actually going to make it more mono, but like that. So listen to this effect. Now you should be hearing how the stereo effect is widening throughout the fake out and then coming down at this drop section. And actually we could maybe try to increase that if just very slightly by bringing this stereo separation knob to the mono side on the drop. So let's listen to this effect. I think that's pretty cool. Now let's move on. I'm going to lengthen this out a little bit. And in this second part of the drop, we are going to use the full speed hi-hat loop, cymbals, crashes, all of that. So here I'm going to also do some changes to the basses. I'm trying to kind of build from these elements, introduce some kind of variation from this pattern. So let's make this unique and copy this. And we could maybe try to do something a little bit faster. Something like that. And also we could change one of the bass sounds. Or use this morph knob. Like these patches have some really crazy modulations or morph knobs. So I'm going to create automation by wiggling this knob and going over here, right click and create automation clip. I'm going to do the same thing for the phaser knob, wiggle, right click and create automation clip. And we have the automations over here, these two. And I'm going to draw this type of curve. So in the first part of the drop we have the original sound, and over here on the second part the sound will be modulated. And we could actually use this curve to increase the modulation amount. And do the same thing over here. So like that. And I think we also need reverses to kind of move between this section. So I'm going to add reverse here and here, and also try to find some kind of reverse symbol. Maybe something like that. Like that. And then we could do some mixing to the basses. I already have sidechain applied to the bass bus, so you have to figure out your preferred method of sidechaining. Now I have the basses over here, so as you can hear, it's already sounding really full, and like there isn't too much I want to do with this bass. But maybe just adding like a little bit of disperser. And copy that instance. Maybe some OTT to boost this effect. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of saturation. So I think that's pretty great. With this one, maybe a little bit of EQ. And I'm going to take away the reverb. And let's go through the last one. I'm going to also take away the reverb and add some OTT to bring out those nice details. Like that. Since we took away all of the reverbs, I'm going to apply reverb to the bass bus. So this is going to affect all of the basses. That brings all the basses a little bit closer to each other. Then we could also apply a little bit of mid-side EQ, mono all of the basses. So I'm going to choose a little bit higher notch. I'm going to choose the sideband. We are taking all of the side information away from the low end. Like that. and maybe we could actually boost the middle frequencies on the side. Make it a little bit wider, then take out some of the high end. And let's A and B this, so without and with. You really have to use headphones or good speakers to hear the difference. Then I'm going to just quickly apply a little bit of limiting to the bass bus. Just a little bit of limiting, and now we need a couple effects to make all this come together nicely. I have this drop shout over here.
I'm going wild!
That's great. Let's put it over here. Then I'm going to also add these vocal shouts. Let's make it a lot quieter. Route that to the mixer and take out some of the high end and some of the low end, like that, and make it even quieter. And the final little thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit OTT to the master and do slight limiting. Like that. So let's listen to what we have.
I'm going wild!
That's pretty cool. Really fast drop. You could obviously spend so much more time on this, but this could be a really cool starting point for a rhythm track.
I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're one of those few people who made it through this video, I hope you learned something useful, something concrete that you can use on your own productions. Again, check out our sponsor Black Lotus Audio. Down below is a link to Machina and a discount code for you to use. Check out their other products. Odyssey is a pretty cool pack. With that said, I want to thank you guys and I'll catch you in the next video.